Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program. And Your Real Estate Voice informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with the host of the program, Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, most people assume the summer is the best time to sell a house and get the most money here in Colorado. So, true or false?
Well, it's kind of true. Actually, what we saw last year is that the highest sales prices tend to be from probably April through August. And then the prices started dropping off. And nobody could, predict exactly where the interest rates are going to fall this year. A lot of the experts are saying the interest rates are going to go down as the year goes on, which is great. It means more buyers can afford homes. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. If I were selling a home, I would make the time frame work for you. Like I have a couple of clients right now that are waiting until the school year is out because there's teachers and they really can't move until they're done with their obligation with the school. So it has to be the best time for you. The good news is right now is a great time just because there are fewer homes on the market to compete with. So just make it work for your schedule and try to plan ahead. Interest rates absolutely impact the buyers, especially entry-level buyers. If it's a higher end buyer, they're not so interest rate sensitive. Most of them have pretty big down payments and they can handle it. But what we saw last year, we saw the rates go from 7.5 down to, I think we're in this mid 6.1 was as low as it got. And then it went up again. And we saw pending sales tick up when the rates came down. That's probably more common for the first time home buyers. So it really does bring more buyers into the game if the interest rates are lower. In general, if the rates are higher, you're going to see fewer sales. There's also the buyers' feelings about whether or not it's a good time to buy a house. I would say a lot of people really want to buy a house, but if they don't think it's a good time or if they can't afford it, they might, wait and rent for a while. And absolutely, the prices tend to zoom up a little bit when the rates drop because the buyers can afford it, which is kind of crazy. And if you look at inventory, number of available homes, actually we're seeing lower inventory right now that looked very similar to the numbers last May. So that's a good thing. But if you look back a whole year, it's still a little bit more of available homes than we saw a year ago. Okay, so more people. And I think if you look over the long term, that's a good thing. If you look at the stats in 2019, there are still fewer homes on the market than there were back then before the pandemic. Yet there's a larger buyer population with Gen Z, Gen Y, which I think are the millennials, and I get them all confused. But anyway, anything younger than boomers, a lot of those people are in a position now where they could buy a home and they want to buy a home, but it's all about affordability for them. The number of sales is basically the same as it was as compared to the year before 2023. And it's my view that if buyers are waiting for real estate prices to drop in this market, I don't think I do it. Because if you see a home that you love and you're in a position to buy it, I wouldn't wait around. If you look at what happened last year between both the average and the median sales prices from the beginning of 2024 to the end, the difference at the end of the year was prices were higher, even with the rates and all the craziness with the election and everything that went on. Prices ended up higher on the year. So I heard a really cool saying on a podcast that says, marry the house, but date the interest rate. What they mean by that is if you find the right house, go for it. You can always refinance the loan at a very low cost and get a lower interest rate. But real estate tends to be very local in different areas. So I get calls from all over because of the show. And Colorado Springs market is a little bit different than Douglas County and Teller County and Pueblo and all that. but we have the data, we have statistics to give you really good market data in each of those areas to give you a really good idea how to position the home if you do plan to sell to get the most money when you sell. Buyers are always looking for homes, and there could be differences in neighborhoods, home style, home age, all kinds of stuff, school districts. But there's buyers that are looking everywhere. And homes that are, in my view, priced when they first go on the market initially, if they're priced what I call very realistic, correctly, versus pricing it high for negotiating room, which is what a lot of sellers tend to do. They're like, well, can I just, price it high in case they make a lower offer? If they ask for concessions, we've got some money built in. You're just not going to get offers if you do that, because they can see all the homes around you. And the market is going to tell you immediately if you missed on price. It's going to show that, hey, I can get a better deal over there. So I'm going to go look at that home and buy that home. That's why we're seeing more and more and more homes that are expiring when they tested a price too high. And that's not a good thing, because Zillow will show the whole entire history of the home being on the market. And the buyers can see that. They can see when you put it on the market, where you started in the price, and when you change the price. But if you're priced right in the first 30 days, those homes absolutely tend to sell for the most money. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about what is the most profitable month to sell a house. Should you do it now? Should you wait till the summer? I would make it work for you. In general, you want to work ahead of when you actually plan to go on the market. From the time you get a contract to closing, if all the stars are aligned, that's going to be about 2 months versus the 30 days leading up to it. So I would give it 90 days before you actually plan to go on the market, to sit down, meet with a professional, get a plan, and get your house ready to go. And what I've done with some sellers is we might have met early because they wanted tips on what to do, what furniture to get rid of and all that, which is great. And then we revisited right before we went on the market to make absolutely sure that we priced it right. And if we made a change then, it made a difference. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. We're talking about basically the best time to sell. And when we come back, we're going to cover what you've probably been hearing in the news about the National Association of Realtors settlement and how that impacts home sellers' commissions and how the real estate agent will act in the future as a result of that. Richard?
Barb, we're talking about when is the best time to sell a home here in Colorado. So what are the pricing trends right now, and what do you expect to happen through the rest of the year? And how is that National Association of Realtors settlement going to affect the market?
Well, Richard, the pricing trends have been dropping actually in the past 6 weeks, pretty much across the board, or they've been flat. Now, why is that? Rates are higher, fewer buyers, the holidays, the season had an impact. But in general, real estate is always local. And I think the buyers always kind of have a nose for homes that hit the market that represent the best home on the block, and they're going to jump on it when they see it. So some homes are not selling as fast as we thought they should, and others might sell faster. Lower rates absolutely will cause homes to sell faster. But in general, the experts are predicting that we will see lower rates going into this year. So I would definitely keep an eye on the inflation rate. And it's kind of hard to figure that out when you watch the news. I'm not really a stock market analyst or anything like that. But I can tell you that I do watch all those shows to just because they do talk about real estate quite a bit. It is a massive part of the economy, and it drives a whole lot of things. And they talk a lot about it because they're looking at that. And when the Fed raised the interest rates, it really did put the brakes on the real estate market first. But the stock market kept flying high, which was kind of weird. So inflation is the number that we got to look at. And if the inflation starts coming down, hopefully we'll see the rates come down and more buyers enter the market because homes are more affordable. As far as the NAR settlement, so what they basically came up with were two rules. The first one was the sellers are no longer to advertise how much commission they're paying to the buyer's agent anywhere online, not just in the MLS, but we can't even put it in the showing agent remarks or anywhere like that. So many times I will get a phone call from agents going, is your seller willing to pay a buyer's agent commission? Because maybe their buyer wasn't willing to pay it. And I think that they were asking that question probably to decide whether or not they were even going to show it if they weren't going to get paid, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And the other rule was that the buyer's agents must have a signed agreement before they show a home about how they will get paid. Now, right now there is no showing police, right? Nobody is overlooking that and checking it. I don't know if that's going to happen in the future, but I think this was a good change, but for a different reason. Their reason for putting this into place had to do with that they had to communicate to the buyer that the seller may not pay their fee and the buyer might have to pay their fee. So they had to get how they would get paid in writing with the buyer. The reason I think it's good is hopefully the buyer's agents are talking to the buyer, giving them their value about what they bring to the table representing that buyer, and also being able to offer services to them and finding out what they're looking for. I have seen that before this change happened. I saw so many complaints from sellers when an agent would show up and they'd sell a property and it was, say, a ranch style home, and the feedback was, oh, well, the buyer wanted a 2-story. And I'm like, then why are you in a ranch? What are you doing? They just told me that they never asked the buyer what they wanted. So I think the professionalism will get better because of this change, and that's a good thing. The other thing that we're seeing right now is that the average amount of commission that's being offered to a buyer has gone down. For years and years, when I first started, I think Denver offered 2.8%. Colorado Springs was always 3%. And now the average commission offered to a buyer's agent is down to 2.25%. And sometimes they're having to negotiate that between the seller and the agent and the buyer. So it really has changed the industry, especially if the agent is unable to articulate what value they bring to the table for the buyer. And I think we'll see some improvement going forward, even though there are more agents. There's 6,300 in the Pikes Peak region, one on every corner. And there's more, like 25 to 30,000 in the Denver metro area. So if you are thinking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, give us a call. And you need a great agent. That's what we do. We have some great buyer's agents just in our company that can help you. We also have great agents that help sellers. And if you want to just get kind of stick your toe in and find out what your home is worth, we provide a free service where we will email you similar homes to give you kind of a price range and show you what we can do to get that number. So give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. Barb Schlinker, host of the program and owner-proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about what to do if you want to buy a house and you have a house to sell at the same time, plus Barb's hot new listings. Don't miss any of that.